So we're back with A2K America to Korea. This is episode 12. It's a continuation of the character evaluations. This is where we are interviewing the girls and finding out if they have what it takes to be a part of a team. And so we're just gonna where we left off is there's about five more girls here, and so the first two up are Kendall and Kaylee. Let's just get into that. And so, starting off, we have him talking to Kaylee, and he kind of like he basically they show that Kaylee is someone who has higher expectations on herself than her own teammates, and she's also someone who's self-driven and also self-punishing, which is kind of like funny because like JYP brings up the idea of her crying when she didn't get like the result that she wanted, and she basically flipped it on him and said that, "Oh, it's not about what you said; it's about like me knowing I could have done better and punishing myself for it." And so after that, when she was asked about what she could bring to the table, she basically said something about claiming that she can be the person who changes the mood and hype people up when they're down. And so that's herself. That's her opinion of herself. When it came to what Jeff thought about her, he didn't really say much about it. But then they got to Kendall. And okay, so it got to Kendall, and apparently she was favored by all the staff, but not the teammates. And uh, they were saying that she didn't put in. Well, she was saying, I think, by herself that she didn't put in a lot of personal effort personally to get to know people at first. But then the show kind of did this thing where it gave her a beneficial edit, and so it showed her behind the scenes kind of get along with everyone. So I guess uh, because the teammates forms didn't say it at the time. I don't know if those forms were done early in their practice or if it was done at the end of the practice right before this interview. But anyways, people didn't seem to say much about her. But I would say that this is an issue of maybe Kaylee being uh, introverted with some level of something called approach anxiety. And so, approach, some people are not icebreakers. And so they don't go up to other people to say hello. They kind of wait for other people to come up to them. But once that ice is broken, then they're cool with them. But some people, for some reason, it could be trauma, it could be just a pattern of people looking down on them when they're kids. But she seems like someone who's very expressive, and maybe when she was like a very small person, maybe she used to go up to random people and speak gibberish to them, and then like they would just like look at her funny, and she would like develop that kind of thing where you don't talk to people unless they talk to you first. But JYP still insists that she is the best at expressing herself. But I guess there was like this whole scene where everyone's talking and she's just kind of like still practicing by herself. She didn't. I guess she didn't take the initiative to get to know them first. But some people are just like that, and I don't know. There are some people who never get over that, and I know about those type of people, and so yes, she's just not meant to be an icebreaker, and I guess it did not work in her favor, and I think I underestimated uh, her introvertedness because of that. And so last week I said that she would probably be the first to get all four stones, but it turns out it did not work in her favor. So they didn't show us who. They only showed us the top five stone ranks so far. I don't think anyone else got stones, and so in this episode, JYP was really stingy with the stones, and so I did not expect that. I actually expected everyone to get it. So I'm really like, I'm really like concerned that I got it so wrong, because I figured everyone would do well enough to get a stone. I didn't think it would be that hard for them to get it, but it looks like not only was it kind of difficult for some people to get along in the team, despite there being no real like competition or rivalry. It turns out like they also elevated the standards for which they would judge people's character, and I think that evaluating each other on the teammate thing really hurt Kendall here. But funny thing is, the staff really liked her, so maybe she's just one of those old souls who has total comfort talking to people who have there's a preconception between them, or a pretense between them, and so like a person who understands the relationship to another person has little problem talking to them. So this is the trainer. You know, you can always go to a trainer, a teacher, mentor, but like in terms of like your fellow teammates, like you ask, can I rely on this person to ask them about something, or should I even talk to this person at all? Will it like bother them? And like, so there's a situation where you have a pretense with someone, you can talk to them easier. But if you don't know where you stand with that person, then there is kind of that icebreaker approach anxiety again. And so let's get past that. We're kind of lingering on this too long. So it gets to the next group, and it's a 3 girl group because there's 11 people here, so they can put them all into pairs. And so here we have Camilla. Camilla was actually voted co-favorite as number 1 teammate, and I think the other number 1 was Lexi. And I'm still not unsure if it's Lexus or Lexi. It seems to be Lexi, but sometimes it's Lexus. I'm guessing Lexi is just a nickname, but her name is Lexus. And so I was wondering if they're going to change that to be her stage name or something, but it looks like maybe they'll avoid it because of they don't have sponsorship with like Lexus cars and stuff, so maybe they'll change it officially. Who knows? But anyways, uh, they asked her about why she may have been voted number 1 by her teammates, and she was saying that it's because she was oldest. She's always trying to be supportive, and she kind of like, you can see her in the background. She's managing their feelings and kind of being like a responsible person. Like she understands the assignment of being in a team, and she's the elder to some degree. And this is something like I think Asian people would understand a lot more. There's a seniority that comes with age, and also responsibility that comes with age. And I feel like maybe part of her, she's like, I don't know if like it's the same with Latin people, but maybe there's also that obligation of seniority as well. And so Camila did get a character stone, and she would become the first to get all 4 stones, which was unexpected by me because I estimated her addition as a sign of timidity. And so I was like, oh, this girl's not confident in herself. Maybe she's not that secure. I don't know how she's gonna be in a team situation. I actually got I actually got it backwards with regards to her and Camilla. Like I thought they would be in different roles. Like I thought Camilla would have that kind of anxiety, but it turns out she didn't, and she explained it as she was kind of like all up in her own head during auditions, and so that wasn't actually really her. The real her, which came out in all the other stages where she got stones for it. So, congratulations to Camilla. She got the first all 4 stones, and she's guaranteed to go to Korea. When it came to the next person, Christina here, uh, JYP said something funny. Like he says that uh, she looks like someone who's figuring herself out, and he sees himself in her in that respect. And he was saying that he had to learn how to be like nice. He had to learn how to become kind of socialized in that way. And so I thought that was really interesting because what he's basically saying is that he was someone who didn't have social intuition at first, and he was someone who had to learn to be empathetic, right? And they had to learn it by trying first, and then like seeing how other people reacted to it. They didn't have like that inborn ability to kind of see it in other people, and so like him, she was not socialized at a young age. She had to make a conscious effort to become socially intelligent. But now that because she's made that conscious effort, she's actually someone who's probably more uh, mentally organized because of it. And so you can kind of see that in her. Like I always said that Christina is basically a splitting image uh, of my old project manager, and she had that same vibe and the same energy. It's someone who learned to be a certain way because they deliberately chose to be that way. It's not just something that they're just feeling out. They know all the rules, and they know all the situations which certain things apply because they've applied themselves in terms of like how to figure out how to do those things. And so I would say, yeah, because she was young and she didn't know how to do it, but she had to learn how to do it, and make a conscious effort to do it. Uh, I would say that's why her and JYP are both people who are very what would you say? Uh, I'm trying to think of a word here. They have like these milestones, sort of like or steps, and they can do things in a very progressive way, in a very step-driven way. Like they know how to get there, like algorithmically, almost like a computer program. And so, according to Jeff, he basically said that Christina has an interesting mind, and so because of that, he looks at her and he's like, you know, uh, she obviously thought very clearly through these things, and she kind of like knows her way around it because she's made thoughts about it. And so similar to that, he also said Camilla embodied greatness, but I forgot to say that before. But anyways, let's go into the next one. It's KG. Uh, JYP said he didn't expect her to get further, which is probably like, I don't know how she felt about that when she heard it, but it's kind of like, you probably like your stomach drops a bit. But he was very surprised that she was able to undo what he perceived as kind of like, I'm not sure if it's bad habits, but definitely he just didn't think that she would be able to like uh, do what she did, which is make a transformation into clearing out uh, that kind of like uh, facade of who she was before. And I was saying this before as well. Like, I feel like KG has always been kind of like maybe she had a facade, but now she may be coming home to something that's a little bit more herself and learning to kind of like relax and let go of that. Like, she basically uh, says that when it comes down to it, she's not like that trying to be a perfectionist, and now she's kind of like just relaxing and trying to have a good time. When it came to like how she was with her teammates, she said she's motivated by wanting to get along with her teammates and also do well with them. And so it seemed like something that people found favorable. Jeff basically said he was most interested in KG's star quality. He seemed to relate to her right away, and he was basically able to see it in her. And I would say that that's probably because she's probably very used to speaking to journalists like him and connecting with them the way that they're used to be connecting with. And sometimes journalists, they're not really looking for like the nitty gritty soul part of you. They're more like looking for the soundbite part of you, and maybe that's what he connected with. This is just speculation on my part. I don't know if this is really true, but I feel like that's why he saw her as the most interesting of all the people. And so that was basically it. That's the last five of the trainees. Christina got a gem, Camilla got a gem, and then later on we find out that Lexus, Savannah, and Yuna also got those gemstones or whatever you call it, the cubes. And so after this, we kind of see some behind the scenes of the girls helping each other. And it turns out that they're like, because this is not a competition where they're like in rivalry with each other and they have to, and there's no benefit to knocking each other down. They're able to kind of more fill in the gaps, the weaknesses, and offer their own perceptions and experiences to help each other get better. And so I felt like that's something I've said before is like they need to kind of lean on each other if they're falling behind, because some people will see things that others don't see. Like, we know that Lexus and Christina probably the best dancers. If you're having trouble in dance, you should ask them what they see or what you're not doing, or kind of train with them. So I would say that because of the nature of this competition, there's no reason for any of them to really be like going home right now. I don't think that any of them should go home right now, but some people would kind of disagree and say there's reasons. Some of them may not be like team member kind of material. There's talks about right now Melissa maybe being seen more as a soloist in like chats and stuff. And honestly, I feel like some people just need time to open up. Some people need experience to learn how to be different. And I think that I'm kind of a person who I'm willing to give people an opportunity. And I feel like some people do need opportunities. Similar to what I said with Kendall. Like, Kendall, apparently she didn't approach anyone early on and connect with them quickly enough for them to give her like good ratings, I guess, or be picked. I don't know if they could only pick one person or if they could talk beneficially about everybody, but I feel like if she had opportunities early on where people approached her first, maybe they would have been like not as standoffish with her, because she's been doing so well that maybe like, I don't know, they could see it differently. But I said this earlier as well, that you have to show Kendall's personality early on before you start kind of like praising her, because people have to know where she's coming from. She's kind of different than other people. But anyways, during this section where people were getting stones, the girls were wondering why there's only 5 stones. Naturally, there was only 5 stones given out, and JYP, he was generally happy with the performance, but he didn't give them all stones. And so, in terms of the character ranks, he ranked with Lexus first, Christina second, Camilla third, and she's the one, obviously, who got all 4 stones, and she's going to Korea. Then he gave fourth to Savannah, and then fifth to Yuna. And I think that chat was really happy that Savannah and Yuna got recognized with the stones, because it seemed like, especially for Savannah, it seemed like JYP was going to be like giving her a hard time and not recognizing her, because of, I don't know if she has, like, some people would argue she has RBF or something, right? But anyways, what something funny happened at this point of the episode. It was like 24 minutes in, and then like the show just started summarizing and going into this kind of montage, which is usually what the show ends on. And I was like, "What? 24 minutes, really?" And then the chat was all like surprised as well, because they got cheated out of 6 more minutes. But then what happened is that they did get like 3 more minutes, where you got to see kind of some previews from the next episode, where you kind of see some stuff like JYP doing hands-on coaching for some of these girls. And so this is going to be the interesting part, because now, uh, if it was just the girls amongst themselves, kind of like, and maybe with trainers, then that's one thing. But JYP showing up and like giving you either scathing criticism or beneficial advice, I mean, it's kind of like, I can imagine that would be intimidating. I actually have a bingo square for intimidating mentor, but I'm gonna hold that off until we actually see how intimidating he is. And so, other than that, there's no bingo this week. So far, there hasn't been any bingo. But anyways, I guess that's it. I'm a little bit scatterbrained here. I noticed that I kept getting lost a bit in it, because uh, the way this episode was structured was very difficult to kind of get around it, because JYP changed it up a bit. He didn't ask as many direct questions, and neither did Jeff. And they didn't make a lot of direct statements too. They kind of just like, they spoke in these kind of like amorphic kind of thoughts, and then the girls answered in amorphic thoughts. And so it was kind of hard to put down, you know, a summary of the episode as well as comment on it, even, because really I'm just like recapping it at this point. I'm not really giving advice on a lot of it, but hopefully I said something interesting that was worth listening to. But if not, you can let me know by giving me a thumbs down in the box down below. But if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And also, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, I'm covering Nizi Project Season 2 with the boys in Japan. Uh, Also, JYP is also doing some kind of vocal-based competition, where he's trying to find the best vocalists that are already debuted idols. So it's not like going to be like trainees this time. It's going to be like the best. I don't know what he's planning to do. I don't know if he's building a group or if he's kind of like doing some competition. But that's kind of be coming around next year, I think. But anyways, see you in the next video.